everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to Creative Grandma's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make sausage gravy with biscuits. Oh, it sounds so good. My grandson is here and he is hungry and it's breakfast time.
That was me waving.
Oh. So he's helping me film, but I just want to welcome everyone into my home where I like to share my recipes with all my subscribers and viewers. And this is just taking everyday ingredients that you have in your home and putting a nice delicious meal together. So first, let me show you what you need to make your homemade sausage gravy and biscuits. So first, we're going to start with our sausage. Now this is the most important part of the recipe, is choosing a sausage that you like. And I gotta give a little bit of a story with this, is because I purchased a sausage that said salt and pepper. And I was so hungry for my sausage gravy, and when I cooked that up, I added salt and pepper, not even thinking. And oh my goodness, it had so much salt in it, it tasted like ocean water. So I picked just a regular country style sausage because it already had some spices in there. So pick about 1.5 pounds of your favorite regular style loose sausage. So now the next item you're going to need is your biscuits. And again, this recipe is based on just everyday items you have in your house. Now I prefer Betty Crocker Bisquick pancake baking mix for my biscuits. I use it for everything. Now my grandson, he likes the Pillsbury Grand Southern Homestyle biscuits. So today I'm going to be using these because they're fast and they're easy. Now if you have a bigger family, there's only 8 in a container, so you may need to purchase 2 depending on how hungry your family is. Now this is not an exact science, so I'm trying to get as close to what I use, because when I make this recipe, I just put the stuff in the pan and really don't measure it. So I'm going to start with 2 cups of milk. You may need a little more, so just make sure you have at least 3 to 4 cups of milk, but you may not need that much. You're also going to need just 1 to 2, maybe 3 tablespoons of flour. It all depends. And then I'm going to start with 4 tablespoons of margarine. Now you can use butter. I just use, I can't believe it's not butter. And again, you may need a little more. So just make sure you have at least 1 stick, just in case you need a little more. Now this handy little device is something my grandson uses all the time. The first time I seen it, I said, what the heck is that? It looks like a rocket ship. He purchased this at Walmart, and it's to take and grind up your sausage or a hamburger when you're cooking. It's such an excellent little device that if you have an opportunity to get one, you should really pick one up, and then you don't have to like pound your sausage with your spoon to cut it up while it's cooking. So nice little device, I thought I'd share. So let's get cooking. So before you begin your sausage gravy, you might want to cook your biscuits first, because these take about 20 minutes, and I want to make sure that my biscuits are ready and finished, because once you start making that sausage gravy, it does get thick pretty quickly, and it does have a tendency to scorch. So just a suggestion to get these biscuits all ready and prepared before you start that gravy. So first I'm going to get my stove started. And now since I have a gas stove, I absolutely love it because it cooks faster than my mom's electric stove. So when I'm up there cooking her breakfast, it seems to take forever to get anything made. So I'm just going to put my sausage in the pan. Maybe. So I'm just going to put my sausage in the pan and start cooking. And this is where that nice little handy device comes into play, because you just use it and well, right now it's not cooking yet, but once it starts cooking, it'll break this sausage right up, and just a wonderful little device. my sausage is cooked, so I'm just going to turn my oven off. And now some people add their ingredients right in the pot. I don't do that. So whatever way you prefer to do yours, you can do. But I remove my sausage from the pan. And I try to get that grease out of my sausage because I don't want to eat that sausage grease. Now I'm going to reuse this pan. I want to get the flavoring of this brown on the bottom of the pan into my gravy. Now I'm just going to go to the sink and drain this fat out of my pan, and I'll be back and I'll show you how to make your roux and then make your delicious creamy gravy. So now what I'm going to do is, my pan's still very hot. I'm just going to put 4 tablespoons of butter or a half of stick of butter in my pan and let that melt. And this is the part where we're going to create what they call a roux, a paste of butter and flour, which acts as the thickener for your gravy. Now again, this is not science, this is just, I throw the stuff in the pan, so you have to use your own judgment of how much to use. So this is how much I'm using, almost a giant heaping tablespoon of flour, and I'm just going to put that in my pan. And then what I like to do is I like to pick my pan up so all the butter runs down and is in one spot. And then you want to stir that up. Now I see that I'm going to need a little more flour because it did not make the paste. It's still too runny. So let me grab a little more flour. I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of flour. And again, this is just hit or miss. You just do it until you get the consistency of a nice thick paste. Now you can see how that's starting to thicken up. And I still want that just a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to use just a little more, maybe about that much. I don't want to get it too thick, just a nice paste. So there we go. You can see, let me hold that up. This is really hot. It's a creamy paste. And now I'm going to start with 2 cups of milk, and I'm going to add that milk to my pan. And what happens is this starts to get thicker. The longer you cook it, the thicker it's going to get. So once I pour the milk in, I start just using my fork and stirring. And I try to get that brown off the bottom, which gives it that extra sausage flavor. And it may take a few minutes until this starts heating up, until you see it starting to get thick. Now when you're making your sausage gravy, you really need to stir and keep an eye on it, because it can get really thick fast and it can scorch because it's a milk-based gravy. So now my gravy is the consistency that I want. You can see how nice and creamy when you stir it, how it separates. And I'm going to add my sausage back into the pan. Now again, the longer you cook this, the thicker it's going to be. So you may have to add more milk. So I'm looking at this and I can see right now that I should probably add a little more milk, because see how I'm stirring, how it's kind of like coming away from the pan. It's so thick. So I'm just going to add a little bit more milk, and then I'm going to turn it down and simmer until my biscuits are done. Now the other thing about sausage gravy is, if you have a weekend or a day where you know you want sausage gravy the next day, you can make this a day ahead, and it keeps really nice in the refrigerator for, I'd say, about 3 days. So the biscuits are still in the warmer. I kept them warm in the oven. So now I'm going to go ahead and lift Cody's breakfast up and give him a delicious breakfast to start his day. Oh, Cody, this looks so good. This is one of Creative Grandma's favorite breakfasts. And then I made those scrambled eggs just to have something on the side to go with those sausage and biscuits. I hope you enjoyed today's video learning how to make the sausage gravy biscuits, and I threw in a side of scrambled eggs to just make a wonderful homemade breakfast for my grandson Cody and my granddaughter Carly. I hope this made you hungry, so until next time, happy cooking everyone!